And okay, so we're live. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, we
Hey,
have
hey.
such a fantastic show for you guys, or chat for you guys tonight. We are so excited to be here. And happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody.
Yes,
Happy
I am.
Memorial Day.
I'm looking forward
Yes.
to the 3 days now.
Yeah, happy fresh out for those that
Yes.
stepped outside.
For some,
I see you
for
out there
some.
enjoying
Yeah.
that air.
But look, I'm social distancing for real. See, those my people way over there.
But
That's
listen,
awesome.
you guys further south are out. You guys are out and enjoying. Some of
Right,
us are
right. For
still
the
online.
most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, I
Today
got
in
my
Florida.
I got my straight out of quarantine shirt.
Look at you. That's so awesome. I need to get that. We bring it straight out of back. Oh, that's
That's it.
serious.
That's it.
We got to bring straight out of back with the quarantine. That is
That's it.
awesome. That's worldwide.
Right? Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, that's worldwide, man. That's awesome. All right, we
All
have
right.
so many good questions to ask you guys. Normally, what we do is we just kind of bounce back and forth. We'll both ask one person a question, and then we'll float to the next person and kind of go back and forth. So if we have any people that it's in our comments and they're asking questions too, we'll jump to that. Just try to keep it fresh and fun, and very informative for everybody. So let's get started by introducing ourselves and our
Yes.
business. So, Ms. Rhonda, if you could tell us all about your business and where you're located.
Okay, so my name is Rhonda Carson. I am the owner of Girlz on Fire, Girls with a
Yes.
Z, and we do firearm safety training. I provide North Carolina conceal carry training. I do intro to handguns, one-on-one private sessions, and handgun cleaning services. Like I said, we formed in 2015, so we just celebrated our 5th year in business. And
Yay! Congrats, congrats.
I threaten to quit every summer, but the girls won't let me.
Don't you do it. You keep going. You keep going because we need you.
Definitely. Definitely.
We totally need you. So please
Absolutely.
keep it coming.
It's like
Right.
at outdoor range. I use an outdoor range, and a guy lets us partner. Any private instructors he'll allow to utilize a private space. And
Okay.
it's so hot. So
I know it gets
Awesome.
hot out there.
Yes.
Oh man. But y'all look so good. We were looking at the video and the pictures and everything, and it just looks so empowering. So we're hoping to definitely learn so much with our conversation tonight. So thank you so much for being on with us.
thank you.
And Cole, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Absolutely. The business called Divas in Defense, which is IN Defense. And my brother and I started 10 years ago. We turned 10 this January.
Awesome.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. And
Congratulations.
thank you. We've trained women. I don't even know the count. There's been so many women that we've empowered through self defense. And we start with girls as young as 4. So we have trainers in different states, different countries. So we try to reach as many women as we can.
And you said you guys start as early as 4. That was actually one of our questions that we
Yes,
wanted to
yes.
ask. So you guys have like kitty
I'm
class
sorry.
or mommy and me? No, tell us about it. So, what would a 4-year-old learn in a self-defense class?
You'll be surprised. So our program, which is called Fierce Girls,
Mhm.
that particular program really allows the girls to not only learn self-defense techniques, they also learn like quality of life things. So like inappropriate touch. They
Mhm.
learn healthy friendships. They,
Mhm.
of course, wide scale bullying. We teach just 12. We have a total of 24 different components that we teach
Okay.
in 12 at a time. So like we
Okay.
even have a summer camp starting on June 2nd that is
Okay.
virtual. So if you do have little girls or know of some, they can definitely get in that program.
Okay.
And Sky Walton, who's our director of our program for girls, she's been with us for 6 years.
Okay.
She's a fifth degree black belt in Taekwondo, and she loves teaching the girls.
That
So
is
we even have
awesome.
so we even have like a belt progression program for martial arts where they get like
Okay.
different belts. So they start at
Okay.
white and
Yes,
to go up to, of course, to black, but definitely to pink, which is an
Okay.
exchange of a blue belt.
Look at that. Go
Yes,
girls.
yes,
I like that. That's dope.
yes.
Yes,
And
I
you know,
mean, so you
huh?
said on June the 2nd is when it started?
That
Did
is
you say
correct. That
Yes.
June
is
the
correct.
2nd?
June
Okay, so
2nd.
everybody watching, if you have, a little girl at home, or if you know of a little girl, 4-year old or older, we're going to
Right.
put the information on the page on social media so that you guys can sign up with Cole and Divas in Defense for summer
That would be
camp.
great.
So
That's
that
it.
is
4 to
awesome.
11. 4 to 11 is that
4
sweet
to
spot.
11. 4 to 11 for
Yes,
summer camp. Okay,
that's
perfect.
correct.
All right, awesome, awesome. So we normally say a little bit about what's been going on in our week. So Shanika, you want to kick us off? I always
Well,
throw the ball to her, like, here you go.
um, so nothing. I mean, I am thankful that I'm working and is still being able to work, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are not able to work. They're laid off. So I'm definitely blessed with that. But I have been really busy.
Yeah.
Call centers. I am working with an organization to help them staff for call centers to help with the coronavirus, as far as resources and information and all of these different things. So it's definitely been stressful because I've been busy and working late. But the good thing is I get to have Fridays to look forward to for our Journey Right chat, and this is chat is exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. So with that being said, Toya, how was your week?
My week was pretty good, kind of the same as yours, kind of the same as Miss Rhonda. Before we got started on the chat, I was like, I just can't keep the cars out of the shop. I can't keep the cars from being serviced. I feel like once I get one car oil changed, the next car need Freon, and then the next car need a pump for something, and then it just is like this. I don't know what's going on, but we gonna get past that. And I'm just like you, Nicola. Like I've been looking forward to Fridays at 8 p.m. where I
Right.
can sit down and connect with like-minded people and bring good information to our friends, family, and extended Journey Right family. So tonight, it hits me so many different ways personally because I'm a girl
Right.
and then I'm black and then I have like a whole bunch of kids. So I'm just so concerned about their safety, our
Right.
security. My daughter is at college right now. She's at UCF, and we've had a couple of different incidents that took place. She's actually on her way to Jacksonville tonight. Tomorrow we'll be attending basics gun range here in Jacksonville for our carry and conceal. So it will be our first class that we will be taking together. So we're going to ask Ms. Rhonda a bunch of questions. So we ready for this class tomorrow. And yeah, so I'm just ready. I'm happy to already see familiar people on and even new people on our comments. So if you guys have any questions, this is live. If you have any questions, comments, if you want to share any personal stories, throw it in the comments and we'll definitely give you a shout out. We'll ask your question for you. We want everybody to join in and just get comfortable and enjoy the chat.
Yes.
All
Most
right.
definitely.
Yay! So let's start. Let's see. I'll start with Miss Rhonda. I don't have any particular order. I'll just kind of go with the flow here and see how we do. But I did have somebody that hit me up before we even got on the chat tonight, and she was like, "Oh my God, I have so many questions. I don't see her on yet, but she's in Wisconsin, and I know that it differs state to state, the gun laws and things of
Right.
that nature. But generally speaking, she says, how would she go about getting getting what she needs? Let's see. And how would I go about getting her gun license, being a single black woman in Wisconsin? She said, I have a long list, but she's going to hit us back. So she's probably going to hit us with more questions in the comments. But what would she need to do to get started?
Right.
Well, as you did state, gun, the requirements change state to state. So she
Mhm.
would definitely have to look at the laws in her state. Not every state allows concealed carry. Um, and what I've noticed just in my training and just doing some research for others, in North Carolina, I can have my handgun on my body and as long as I have a concealed carry permit, I can have my handgun on my body, in my purse, um,
Okay.
backpack or whatever. But places like Maryland, I don't know about Wisconsin, per se, but places like Maryland, you can have a concealed carry permit, but you must have a lock and pistol case in your car.
Oh,
So laws vary state to state. And what I tell people is when you're traveling, during your summer road trips or whatever, you need to research laws for every state that you're going into. Not every state is going to honor concealed carry. Not every state is going to have open carry, which North Carolina is an open carry state. Which means that your gun can be fully visible anywhere that you go. The only places that you're not allowed to go is like government facilities.
okay.
Any place that has a sign that says no firearms allowed on the door, you're not able to enter. If there's not a sign posted, you're allowed to go into that facility with your firearm fully visible in North Carolina.
Okay.
But
Okay.
as long as you have that concealed carry permit, then you have the rights to have your gun concealed or hidden on your body or purse or whatever. Without that concealed carry
Okay.
permit, you get a charge if you get caught with the firearm.
Oh, okay. So when you say you can go into a place and you can have the gun on you invisible, is that along with your carry conceal license, or is that just a law that is that just a general right for you?
There's two different things. There's the concealed carry, which requires you to go through 8 hours of training, and you
Okay.
have to do an on-range shooting qualification to be able to carry the gun concealed on your body. North Carolina is an open carry state, so you can have a visible firearm anywhere that you choose to, even if you get stopped by the police. Your gun must be fully visible, which I typically tell people put it on the dashboard or on the seat, or it must be locked in your glove box or in your trunk if you did not have a concealed carry permit.
Okay.
If you do have that concealed carry permit, again, you can have it on your body, in your purse, in your backpack, tote bag or whatever, but you must have that concealed carry license to conceal that firearm. Otherwise, it must be fully visible or locked.
Okay.
In a specific place.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm gonna let that sink in, settle in, so that we understand that, and that we also understand, guys, if you're listening and you're super interested and you really want to know, you can literally be on a road trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, driving through different states and have to experience different laws. So make sure you if you planning to carry, make sure that you're kind of planning to look up those states' laws before you get in that road trip, because if you get stopped, you could run into some problems if you don't know what's going on. So
Yes,
state to state, different things.
very common. People traveling through places like California, New York, and they have their firearms and don't know those laws, and they get into legal troubles in those states. I think New York may have a 10-round magazine capacity.
Wow.
Some of the Glocks, you can have up to 17 rounds in one magazine. So you're going through there with your Glock 17, not knowing that you're breaking the law because you hadn't done research or didn't have the proper knowledge, or no one ever told you to do the research. And what is, when we get in the court of law, ignorance is not an excuse. So we're responsible for knowing those laws.
Right. Thank you.
And I know that in Georgia, where Cole is located, they are not required to do a training class. They mail their application in, state does a background check, and either they mail it to you or tell you to come and pick it up. I'm sure Cole can tell us.
Really?
That is absolutely correct.
Yes, share with us, because we're nationwide here, so we're always in Georgia. So let us know.
Right.
That's wow.
So Georgia has very. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying Georgia has very lenient laws when it comes to CCWs, with your concealed carry permit, and because of that, it's pretty much, if you're not a criminal, you can pretty much get it, but we are open carry as well, where you can be open carry, but if you will conceal it, you do have to have your concealed carry permit.
Okay.
And do you have to take a class for that, for the concealed? No, and not at
no
all.
Class.
A lot of
you can go from buy a class, pass application, walk around with it up until you shoot somebody is not a problem.
Whoa. That's awesome. That really makes you feel like you have a right.
Right. But the bad part is so many people fall through the crack lines, like Miss Rhonda is about to address, so many people fall through the crack lines, and because of that, mental health is not a big thing when it comes to receiving that permit, so There's other issues that we do have to deal with.
Mm.
Miss
Mm.
Rhonda, what was your feedback there? How do you feel about that? What
Oh,
was
well,
your
I would say one of my, feel like the most important thing to know is to get the firearms training. How do I utilize my firearm properly? What are safe carry practices? What is, just general marksmanship fundamentals? But most importantly, what are my rights and what are the laws for where I reside? And
right?
if you don't know those things, then, you can be a danger to yourself, unfortunately.
Right.
Absolutely. That's the flip side of it. And if somebody just told me, go ahead, mail it in, I would have so many questions. So I'm actually looking forward to be able to go in and sit down. I'd be like, wait a minute, who
Right,
am I supposed to talk to about this?
right.
They probably be tired of me coming up to the gun range asking 1,000 questions
No,
because
no. Most of them are very helpful and willing
they
to
are. Yeah,
do
who
some
I've
own,
experienced, they've
own.
been pretty cool.
Yeah, they do
All
some
right.
one-on-one, sessions right there with you at the range. A lot of the ranges, so you have some good.
Yeah. I mean, I've really enjoyed my time at the ranges. They've been very nice and informative and helpful. So
Yes, and we definitely want to ask questions. So,
Most definitely.
I mean, do they even have classes in Georgia, Rhonda, at all? Like, if anybody wanted to take?
Let's
Yes,
go.
there are a lot of
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
there's a lot of private instructors out here that do it. We have a black woman who we partner with, who does some training for our females. But when we did go down that road for a little while, and to be honest with you, one lady dropped a live firearm. It didn't discharge, and right away I saw my insurance go up, so I just took firearms completely out the way. I'm good,
oh,
So we just stick to hand-to-hand combatives.
It's
wow.
So that
definitely
was scary.
challenging and it
Yeah.
can be scary at times,
Yeah.
depending on.
But also, like a great firearm class is multiple hours. It's not like here's a gun, point a gun, shoot a gun. It's multiple hours of training. I mean,
right.
when
Right,
you have a weapon a weapon that can cause death, you should have some form of training no matter what.
right. Most definitely.
Even non-lethals, yeah. Even pepper
Yeah,
spray, you need training. Yeah.
right. I most definitely, I do agree with you on that. Do definitely agree with you on that. I'm just looking at the comments. A lot of people are very amazed with Georgia's
Yeah, they're like, what? They're
Leniency,
like,
right?
what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy,
And
try
Miss Rhonda,
Texas.
you've got some number one fans over here. Miss Stephanie, Miss Mapalo Jackson, Tina Wilson, Ray. Everybody's saying, hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
So
The
we are
family
happy to
friend.
have you guys.
thank
Thank
you for
y'all
Yeah.
so
joining
much.
us. Thank you for joining.
For
Um,
sure. Budgeting with financial freedom. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, if y'all have questions, just shoot them out. We'll definitely jump on them.
yeah.
Shanika, did you have a question for Rhonda?
Um, no, I didn't
Okay.
have one. I was thinking about when I was talking about Georgia, but that's cold, so I didn't want to. As far as this, because I just think, because I did take a concealed weapons class in Florida, so I know the rules are different. It is important to look up the rules in each state when you are traveling, because I know
Mhm.
people love the people who are have their concealed weapons. They would like to carry their weapon with them, but you definitely have to be careful.
Mhm.
What you said, Maryland, I did not. I was not aware of that law in Maryland. Maryland at all.
Mhm.
Definitely would have to stay up on the gun laws. I mean,
Mhm.
would you say that, Ron? I mean,
Definitely.
how often do you think you should? And that could be a question. How often should you stay up on, what's going on around you while you have that concealed weapon? Because how long is it good for? How many years? It can.
Your concealed weapon permit in North Carolina is good for 5 years.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
like I said, you are required to do 8 hours of training, and that includes an on-range shooting qualification.
Okay.
And, at the end of that 6 years, you have to just go through the sheriff's department in your local residential county to renew. You don't have to take the class again as long as you keep your permit active.
Okay.
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 That's
And
good
But
information.
of course, highly recommend that you continue your training. There's different types of training courses available. Not just intro and conceal carry. There's active shooter and home defense type courses and even defensive courses that have like different types of barriers and different types of things. So I definitely recommend that you take additional training after you do your concealed carry class, or before, it doesn't matter. But
Right.
definitely stay up on that training and stay up on those laws. Laws don't change a lot very often, but they do change. So it's definitely a good idea to do a refresher every now and then if possible.
Okay. And
Thank you so much.
would you say it's costly to get to, like, if you wanted to start out, like, what's your average cost if someone says, hey, I want to try to get my concealed weapons license, how much do you think I need to like set aside just to move forward with if I wanted to do something like that?
Well, I would say definitely a couple $100. A typical average price for a concealed carry class is going to run you about $100 to $125 in North Carolina.
Okay.
You can find them for a little less, a little more.
Right.
Also, you have to not only invest in that training, you also have to invest in that permit, which is a separate cost
Right.
that you have to pay to the sheriff's department for that state issued permit. So there are two costs associated there. Of
Okay.
course, if you want your own firearm, that's even, additional costs. But most instructors are going to have firearms available for their students to utilize in
Got
training classes. So a lot of people, they think that they have to have a firearm before they do their training, and that's not true.
Got
So you can actually learn, you can get your carry conceal license without even being a gun owner. You can
Most
go.
instructors have firearms available. I have firearms available for my students. They have an option. It's, of course, cheaper for them to register with their own firearm. It's $100 for my
Mhm.
course, and it's $115 if I provide the firearm and the ammo.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Cole. Can you tell us what is a self-defense class? I just want to throw this out. My daughter, I put her in karate when she was little,
Okay.
and I know
Okay,
that that's a
great.
form of self-defense, but as an adult, what would I be taking when I sign myself up for a self-defense class?
Okay, so I would say, so it sounds like the real question is, what is the difference between a self-defense class and like a traditional martial arts program?
There you go.
So, okay, so I've been asked that before. So I would say the biggest difference is it's real life situations that most self-defense programs should train you in.
Okay.
So whereas where a lot of traditional martial arts are also training you for tournaments so that you can get your belt progression, your trophies and things like that.
Mhm.
um, Predominantly what we train is just real practical everyday self-defense situations. So if someone comes up to you that you don't know, how to address it, what should be your first strike and why. Like, a lot of people think if a stranger come up to them, oh, I can't wait till I hit them. Well, if you hit them, if you're waiting to hit them, their arms are longer than yours. I mean, they can hit you first.
Right.
Okay. So your legs are longer unless you're just an abnormal individual, but your legs are longer. So it's always best to just start off with a kick because that's your first point of contact. We teach like different situations, like someone grab you from the back. You're in a situation with your husband. He tries to, pin you to a wall, like things like that we teach. Whereas a traditional program really don't really go into those.
Right.
Not saying that those techniques, because I've done traditional programs. So not saying that those techniques don't apply, but they're communicated different in instruction.
And that's
So
super important,
Right.
especially because as you get older, you become numb to certain things, you become humble to certain
right.
situations. I want to keep it like super, super real. So, one of my questions for you was self defense. How would you use it in a situation with someone that you don't know that's attacking you versus someone that you do know? And I think it's great that you use
Mhm.
someone in a situation with their husband because we know that domestic violence
Mhm.
happens.
Wow.
It's not
And right
something
now
that,
it's real bad. You're right.
and
Yeah.
right now it's real,
Right.
and so how would I know you have a program for this, but just in general speaking, how would you approach those situations if you found yourself in danger with an unknown assailant versus somebody that you do know, like a husband?
Okay, so a lot of it is just really getting into the mental capacity. So, for instance, someone who you don't know, I hate to admit it, it's easy to take them out. It's
Right.
them or you. That's an easy decision of them or you. Okay.
Right.
Whereas someone that you love, that you bore children for, And
Right.
and is a provider for you and your family, or when I say provider, I don't just mean like is the complete financier, but definitely um has that support system in the family as well. It's not as easy to cause that person pain.
Mhm.
So what we try to instruct is it's simple. We just want you to create distance in both components. I want you to be able to create a point where you can get away.
Mhm.
Okay, both situations. I don't want you to sit there and I don't care how long you've been training with us. I don't want you to sit there and attempt to go toe to toe with any individual because I don't know their training.
Right.
All right. So it's
Right.
really just putting yourself in a situation where you can get away quickly. So when it comes to the actual techniques, they're really one and the same. I
Okay.
mean, you hit a stranger and you poke a stranger in the eye. I mean, that's a vulnerable part of their body. They're
Right.
going to stop doing something to address that eye. You poke your husband in the eye, it's the same result. You
Right.
kick between the legs. You hit in the throat. Things like that work both ways. But you just have more capacity and more compassion to not hurt someone who you do love. So even I've had a client whose child was beating them, their child, their own son.
Right.
So
Mm.
she was like, it's hard for me to hurt him. I said, well, apparently he doesn't feel the same way.
Right.
And
Right.
you're
And
getting to a point now where your life might be in danger.
Right. Right.
for sure.
So
And then you can't really all right, so here's another situation. So
okay,
the police department, 911, we're always
okay,
told that if we get into a situation, call 911. If you are experiencing a situation and you're kind of dealing with it over a course of time, go to your local police department, file for a restraining order. You got to go through this process. But when you're right in the midst of something and amongst a situation, and whether it's a child or a family member or a husband or somebody that you don't know, and they're attacking you, you need to feel confident and have self-defense training.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, how many women come to you preventative, before a situation, kind of like where we are tonight. We're kind of like, we know that this is a thing. This would be great for us. It's almost like it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Mhm.
like we're in a scary situation. We're not at that point now where we are fearing our lives. And this is like defense mode.
Right.
How many people come to you guys on a preventative measure, just to kind of prepare themselves in the event that this may happen in the future, or just to have the training?
Not as many should.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
So we did a poll a few years ago, and
Okay.
I think we had a total of 237 women did the online poll. So
Okay.
when we did the numbers, this one thing we realized. Okay, we know that 1 in 3 women who are murdered by an intimate partner. We know
Hmm.
this. Department of Justice shows this. We know
Hmm.
that 1 in 4 college age girls will be a victim of an attempted or completed rape. We know this. It
Hmm.
shows in the numbers. We also know that 1 in 6 women, 1 in 5 women who are married are in a domestic violence relationship. It doesn't just have to be physical. It could be financial. It could be emotional. It could be different levels of abuse, psychological abuse. And
Hmm.
then the biggest thing that we noticed was 1 in 86 women have taken a self-defense course, either proactive or mandatory in college.
Okay. So
So when you
one
look
in
at those numbers,
86.
86,
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
Come on,
So when you
ladies.
ask me
Come
that
on,
question,
baby.
it's real easy to give you a
Yes.
response because I saw the numbers myself. And not saying that I was surprised. I mean, in a class of 20 women, two or three may have done something before. Karate when they were little, self-defense class because of college. Their friends did a little thing, you know.
Hmm.
So, we take that into account either way. And that's the number we need to change. That changes everything because it's
Yeah.
a confidence builder. It,
Hmm.
Right.
it boosts your confidence. It increases self-love. It increases self-worth. So, not saying that people who don't love themselves get abused, but it's hard to continue that type of love for yourself while you are taking that abuse. And leave is not that easy. Why don't you leave, girl? I got kids. He
Right.
controls
It's
the finances. I got a hundred
right.
dollars,
Right.
a
Right.
hundred dollars, and he got the gas card. Leaving is not that easy.
Right.
So as general citizens, we need to be more compassionate when it comes to dealing with women who have been in any issue, be it at a home issue, be it, I mean, not to be funny, ladies, it's 4 of you guys, it's 3 of you guys on here with me. It's a great chance that one of you guys have a history of some level of abuse. It's a great chance.
Right.
It's a great chance. And
Right.
because of that, some of us just ignore it. Some of us live with it. Some of us has changed us dramatically. And we don't realize how that affects all relationships, both intimate and non-intimate relationships moving forward through life. It's
Right.
amazing.
It really does.
So,
Even preparing for the show, I keep calling it show because we've been
yeah.
so theatrical and it's just been such a production pulling everybody together and so
Right.
phenomenal just watching us grow. But putting our chat together and just planning for it and even just finding posts to go along with what we were going to talk about this week. When you're posting things, you kind of like you post what you relate to.
Right.
You post what speaks to you, what looks pretty. And it was difficult for me this week. It was almost like an introduction to getting myself ready to step into this world that I didn't even know that existed, sort of thing. Yes, I have witnessed abuse. I know that abuse lies and exists on many, many different levels. I've seen it with my own eyes. But I just, it's just not that deep. I'm just not in defense mode myself. So to read those posts and to resonate with them, you really have to find a place where you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this, or not even that, but I'm worthy. This is something that
Right.
it's my right, to understand and be able to protect myself if I need to, because it could be 1 minute too late,
Mm.
Second.
and yeah,
A
and I
mere
think
second. Yeah.
near a second, and
A
those
second.
what are they? Those restraining orders, they don't matter. Those pieces of paper, they're not gonna save you. And yeah,
You gotta save
it's
yourself.
sad.
You got to be
Right.
able to save yourself. And I think that
Right.
as women who have children, you need to be an example and show your children the strength to
Yeah.
be able to walk away. I understand ego. You don't want people in your business for real because people talk,
Right.
and that's where humanity needs to come in and we need to help instead of talking about that person,
Right.
and
That's
make
right.
have them feel comfortable to lead, and it's good for the children. To see that, because what happens is history repeats itself, and so you
Yep.
want to break that chain. I think one of the things that I've noticed, when I know we were going to have this chat tonight, was how many young adults, and when I say young adults, I'm talking from 16 till about 25 years old, who get in an abusive relationship, and it's
Mm.
so crazy. These dudes, the disrespect, that they are doing in public,
Yeah.
dragging females, dragging them by their hair, pulling guns out, putting it to their head, threatening them, and they can't do any, helplessly. The amount of violence is just, and I think because social media is so broad now that people are just taking their phones out and recording instead of actually trying to do something, which,
Right.
And you're left alone, even in those situations. Yep.
that it's just so crazy. So I like the fact, Cole, that you mentioned that you work with girls as young as 4, because I
Good.
think it's very important to start instilling it young. And I'm only speaking from experience because I know that's something that I wish that I would have done more. Not to say that I didn't do, but I wish I
Mm.
would have done more because I think it's
Absolutely.
important. Self-defense. I mean, I wish I would have taken some self-defense classes.
Still
Even
not too late.
It's not too late.
I
I'm
want
going
to
to
know.
say, girl, it
Not
is
too
not
late.
too late.
I mean,
I
the
mean,
way,
we can even go to Atlanta.
okay. I mean, the way I was told was you
I'm
pick
trying
up
to find out.
anything around you, any object that's sharp,
Right.
beer
Anything
bottle,
could be a
whatever,
weapon.
and you go in. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
my defense.
I'm
Okay.
trying to find
Right.
out if Cole has a 5-day boot camp so we can all plan our vacation in Georgia.
Hey, that would be so
Whoa,
much
that's a good
fun.
idea. You know what?
Cole,
I might
we're
consider
gonna get
that.
with you, and we'll get Miss Rhonda, and we'll get an Airbnb. Look, I'm always planning.
Let's
I'm
do
like,
it.
we're gonna
Let's
do
do it.
this.
Let's do it.
2021 is on.
Well,
That's awesome.
one thing I do want to touch on, especially in our community, okay? Men have to have a little bit more responsibility, all right? And I hate to admit it that sometimes it's due to lack of of example that they don't know how to love. And some, and then we have to consider so many different things. But when you were speaking of, to love yourself enough to leave, well, you got to also understand that some people don't know love. That's
Right.
why sex trafficking works the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
Because over 60% of the girls in sex trafficking are from like group homes, foster care, things. 60 something percent, 60%. And this is because they don't know love. You get a guy who shows a facade of love, and he show you the world. Boom, hit on the side of the head. Well, that's because you made me feel some kind of way, but I only did that because I love you. So then that mentality kicks in. And then it's not that easy to leave. I mean, I can't count how many girls that we rescued from sex trafficking who went back to their pimps like weeks later. Like, girl, did you not listen in class? But it's just a different type of love, and they're not used to it. So one thing that we have to do is learn to, especially from a women perspective, learn to love self more. Because the more you love yourself, the less that you would allow. I
Right.
guarantee you. And,
Right.
and that's why self-empowerment and self-love are so important, that they go hand in hand with self-defense. If that's not part of any self-defense program that you are learning, you are doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
If they're not teaching you
Yeah.
confidence, empowerment, if it's not
Agreed.
just empowerment is the number one thing. Even I can only imagine Miss Rhonda, empowerment is the first thing. Before I teach you how to shoot a gun, I need you to be responsible and understand your actions, and appreciate my earbud keep falling. I'm sorry,
Okay,
y'all.
we hear you.
You know, one thing
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, fire. We come up with these names for our business, and they sound catchy. Girls on Fire sounds catchy, and coming up with the name for the business, and it was a struggle for me, and so I was like, well, if I'm going to use this, and I wanted to have some meaning behind it,
Yeah.
so the fire actually stands for feminine, independent, resilient, and empowered.
Mm.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
So
And I
It
saw
has
in
to
And
be
your name, you
empowered.
take that fire and you blow it up. Everything's in caps, and it's like dot dot dot. And when
yeah,
I read it, even reading your title, it's like it's more. Dig a little
right.
yeah,
deeper,
definitely,
find out
definitely.
what fire means. To you
And
as a mission.
talking about the self-defense piece, I in my class, my conceal carry class, I incorporate things like the non-lethal forms of defense, talking about the tasers and the self-defense key rings, and not tasers, I guess you call them stun guns,
Stun
uh,
guns. Yeah, I was gonna correct it
the
later.
pepper
Go ahead.
spray, like I said, the self-defense key rings. I carry the bulldog, Brutus the bulldog key ring
Oh,
with
I
me.
love the Brutus.
I
That's
go,
my
I love
favorite.
that's my I
Listen
love
to them.
Brutus.
Y'all
I
got to break this
love
down. We
Brutus.
don't understand this lingo.
But
Yes.
talking
So
about situational awareness, the Cooper
absolutely,
codes, having a safe room in your home, different things,
absolutely.
measures. It's not just about firearms in my class.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm gonna send you over instructor information packet, Miss Rhonda. You might be teaching divas in the fence when this is all said and done.
I read. Hey, this sounds good to me.
That
I'm
is
trying to get that pink belt. I'm
awesome.
trying to get that
Yes.
pink belt.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get that
get
pink belt.
that's it. Do the complete program, because
Oh, I love it. I wish.
one
I
one
wish I
one
was
thing
closer
about
to it.
firearms, I love the fact that firearms, and especially women, are gaining more confidence when it comes to firearms.
Mhm.
But I need you to understand simple things, to just in case you have to get to that firearm.
That's
Right.
right. That's
Because
can't carry
you don't
that
walk around. It ain't in
there.
your robe.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
y'all were talking about the training. I started shooting fire guns. I guess you would say at the age of like 7, 8 years old with my granddad in the backyard. Grew up in the country, and he used to take us out, line up some cans, and we'd shoot BB guns and pellet guns, or whatever. So it kind of eliminated me having that fear as I got older. And one day my uncle came in the house. I was like 19 years old, still living at home with my mom, and I'm don't know if this was legal, but he had bought a firearm off of someone on his job, and he came in trying to sell the handgun to my mom, and then I got to thinking, I was like, Mama got a gun, my auntie got a gun, Granny got a gun. Now I was like, well, I want it, and he was like, well, give me
Yes.
$100. And I actually got my first handgun when I was 19 years old,
Okay.
and I don't want to age myself, but turned 51 this year. So I've been carrying well over 30 years.
Amen.
That
Amen.
is
So,
awesome.
growing when I was like, teenage years, going to the college parties, 19, 20 years old, and, those early 20 years of my friends, they would always say, I'm afraid of guns. And my first thought that always comes to my mind is I'm afraid to not have my gun. Because how do
See,
I defend
Mm.
myself
see,
without my
that's
gun?
the mentality. That's the mentality right now that we
And
want
also
to.
think about, and also I want you to think about that firearm as a tool. It is not. It's not going to, go shoot somebody without human interaction.
Right,
I
right,
you use an iron to iron your clothes. You use a curling iron, flat iron for your hair. And you use a firearm for self defense. It's a tool for self defense.
Got
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Got it.
I agree. I love it.
But you definitely
Well,
got to, respect that weapon because it is a dangerous weapon. And
Right.
if
well,
I
I'll
meet
be
someone who's not afraid, I'm afraid.
Right.
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 So,
I was about to say I'll be 48 this year, so I ain't that far from you, Miss Rhonda. Don't worry about
No, no, we right all in there together.
Yes.
it.
We
And
right all in
definitely,
there together.
it's
This
definitely
is
a
a
blessing.
perfect plug for the Virginia State alumni, that Virginia
Yes,
State
Yes.
crew
You just
from the
say,
early 90s. What up, Petersburg,
right.
VA?
P Town.
pizza.
We got to give y'all a shout out. Let's address some questions before we roll to the next our
Yes, I was
next
going to
question.
say there's
So,
one question there that's for Cole there. It says,
Okay.
what are some of the basic principles that you cover when talking to young girls about inappropriate touch? That's a good one.
So the way that Sky teaches it is normally, if you can imagine yourself having on a bathing suit, anybody touch a bathing suit area is inappropriate.
got
We
it.
even discuss how your parents should touch you. We even
Right,
discuss how your doctor should touch you.
right.
So when it says those components, um, we actually have packages that we send home the
Mm-hmm.
week before we go into that training, okay,
Okay,
or days before we go into that training. So that way the parents even are able to physically see what we're discussing. So
okay,
we don't really address with young girls molestation per se or rape per se,
okay.
but sometimes it does come out.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Sometimes it comes
And
out like, wait a minute, I was
oh,
touched there.
as a father of five, I get really angry. I
Yeah,
wasn't ready for that side of this business. I
yeah,
waited for a brother after school one time. I was told I couldn't. So
right, right.
but so it's really just open up the dialogue, even giving the parents some instruction because the kids are excited. When they come home, they got questions every class.
Mm-hmm.
So we even give like certain content that parents should use
Right,
when it comes to that. So I hope I answered that question. But the
Yes.
short version is anyone who you don't know should never touch you at all.
right,
Yeah.
Okay, not if you extend your hand for a handshake, that's fine. But like how a strange person may come up and touch you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, sweetie, oh, that's get away from me.
right,
I don't know you. Get away from me." We
right,
even discussed like at Thanksgiving, that uncle that uncle or aunt or cousin that
right.
the daughter is real funny acting around. You be like, "Go give your uncle a hug." She's like, "I don't want to." You be like, "You
right,
better hug your uncle." Listen
Mhm.
as a parent. You
Yeah.
That's
right.
don't
right.
know what the experience is. They may not be able to communicate it.
Right.
That's
Don't
a
force
new
don't
when
force it.
memes became popular, I kind of that one struck me through a meme. It was like you don't have to or don't make your child hug all the family members or
Oh
kiss all the
no,
family members
no,
because I
no.
grew up in like a southern, in Virginia, everybody huggy
Right.
huggy, touchy touchy,
Yeah.
we not like the Italians where we do the kiss and back away. I mean, it's like
Right.
hug.
Right.
And now it's like you said, listen to your child. If they don't want to, if they feel uncomfortable, it should not be forced. You
Right.
know.
Never.
And
So
Never.
parents also need to realize not just family, friends, because we do
yeah,
have
Right.
friends who we consider this
All
family
the above.
we've been right, been
All
with
the
for a
above.
long time. You got to make sure, just listen to your children. Listen to
hmm
your children and
Yeah.
have conversation with them, because you want them to feel comfortable talking with you.
yeah,
Well,
You know,
I about to say subconsciously, you force your child to do that. You teach her to let her guards down.
yeah,
mhm.
You teach
Mhm.
her to ignore her intuition.
yeah.
You ingrain this in them at a young age by forcing those issues, and you never understand. And then when
Mhm.
you do understand, your daughter's 14 through 18, and some boy has went too
And
far.
broken.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
and then you mad and you don't know why, and you blame the child sometimes because they know better. But
hmm
mom, you've been forcing me to hug my weird uncle for years.
Right.
You've
Hmm.
been forcing me to hug your friends, and they kiss me on the cheek. They want me to sit on their lap. You've been forcing it.
Mhm.
You ingrain that culture. So as
Right.
parents, we have to stop that.
My mama didn't
Absolutely.
play that sitting on nobody's lap.
Yep.
Oh no, my daughter. Once you get a certain age, I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
Right.
You
Oh
like,
no,
listen,
no.
this ain't
This
sitting right
is.
with me.
Put
So
your legs together. Put your butt on one leg of daddy's, and we good. No horsey. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no horsey.
No horsey. I can't take it.
Disrespectful.
That's
Right.
awesome. I mean, these are small gems, but they're very important gems. And everybody, that's watching, they're listening. And all of these little things, they're going to make sense. We're going to
Right.
wrap it up and it's going to all make sense in the end. It's
Exactly.
already kind of circling back around to what we said in the beginning of the conversation with just being able to feel comfortable and feeling worthy of self defense. Because, like I said, this is almost for me like, oh, this is a girls trip or this is a girls night.
That's it.
It's not serious for me yet, and I don't want to be in that situation, and I don't want my loved ones in that situation. So hopefully we can get some women, change that 1 in 86 to 85
Boy.
and 86 and make
But
sure
don't
more
Exactly.
worry.
people taking
We
advantage.
mark we market to you tutorials called Kicks and Cocktails. We got something for you too. You part
Let's
the
go.
party girls that want to learn self defense. We got that. We got
Let's
that too.
go.
Love it.
That's awesome. That and me and Miss Rhonda's 5-day thing. I mean, I'm good.
I know, right?
All right, so let's see. Rhonda, I have a question for you here. So, let's see. I travel a lot. So I travel mainly for work between Florida and New York. And I just recently purchased my very first firearm.
Mm.
And I have a couple of questions for you when it comes to travel. New York is a tough one, and I ain't trying to go to New York City and get myself in no type of trouble.
Just leave it at
So
home.
leave it at home. Plus, I'm flying.
Yes.
Let me ask you about this. Can you take a, a firearm on a plane? Can it
Yes, you
be
can take
packed
your
away?
firearm on a plane.
Okay.
You have competition travelers traveling all over, the nation, daily. Um, you have to have your firearm in your checked baggage with your ammo can be in that checked baggage, but it cannot be loaded. It has to be separate from the handgun. Do not put it in that carry-on bag. You got FAA regulations
You're gonna be on
and
the
regulations,
ground.
whatever fire
I'd be like,
airlines are flying. But I
okay,
definitely would not fly into New York with a firearm in my bag.
No.
okay.
No.
Don't
So,
even take a
as
stun
an
gun to New York.
alternative,
Don't
No.
take a
Yeah.
stun gun,
New
pepper
York is
spray,
tough.
none of that stuff to New York. Never. No Brutus, none of that.
Well,
Now,
okay, so
stun
what
gun,
would you take as an alternative? Because you guys have a lot of different. I just noticed on your Instagram, you got a lot of different, like, um, I guess tools we would call them. It was one. It looks like a spike. Would that could that come with me? It was like a spike. I guess it's no heat cold like negative. What would
Yeah.
I take
We
with
we
me to protect myself, or what could I buy once I landed in New York City to protect myself?
so in every city you can in every state, all 50 states, you can have pepper spray up
Okay,
to 10% OC. So
okay,
OC stands for oleoresin capsicum, which really just means a whole bunch of dang on peppers. Okay.
okay,
So each state you can have it, but in states like New York, you have to purchase it there. You
okay,
can't bring it with you. Okay.
okay,
So when it comes to your question, an ink pen, a rolled
okay,
up magazine,
okay,
uh, some makeup, a makeup brush with the brush in your hand.
okay.
The keys between your fingers like Wolverine. Stop that. Stop that
Right.
today. Just hold one key.
he
Well, I'm
said,
gonna tell you why. Because if you have them and you punch, the other
yeah,
part of the key goes in your hand. So
yeah.
if you use it for scratching, it's okay, or
Mhm.
poking with. But if you gonna hit with it, you're gonna both be hurting.
Okay.
But we talked about anything. I could teach you how to kick a butt with a water bottle. I mean, it's so many things you can do. So as far as worrying about taking weapons as you travel, as Miss Rhonda alluded to earlier, know the laws before you
Before
show
you
up.
go. Exactly.
Mhm.
That's
now
a terrible reason to be locked up.
in
Yeah.
North Carolina, a lot of people don't realize that you can actually get a concealed carry charge with a stun gun, just a little
Yeah.
Mm,
If you don't
stun
have your
gun.
CCW, absolutely. You gotta have
Well,
you
the
gotta have a permit.
CCW
what?
doesn't cover that in North Carolina. It,
It
it is
doesn't.
one of
It used
those.
to.
It is one of those things
Wow.
that must be visible if you're stopped by an officer. Most people got it in their
Wow.
purse. It's not likely they're going
Right.
to search your purse, but if that situation comes, you're going to get a
You could
concealed
get,
carry charge
yes.
because you
Yes,
didn't
take
take it out and have it visible when you were stopped by that officer. Anytime
Wow.
you stop by an officer, it
interesting.
needs to be fully
Mhm.
visible, just like that open carry handgun.
Wow.
So since we're talking about being stopped by an officer, I shared that I have three teenage boys. The third one
Mm,
will be getting his official license in August. So we're practicing what we preach. I've already taken them to the range with me twice. One of them as a birthday, that was his birthday party. He was like, I want to go to the gun range. He knows I'm
awesome.
into it. He knows that dad is into it. We just went right before quarantine, we all went together as a group. That was an outing, an activity that we did together. If they decide in 6 months to a year, hey, I want to carry a gun, I want my own gun, what would they need to know if they're ever stopped by police officer? How do you tell an officer? We're already scared to death to have our hands
Well,
moving. What do you
um,
say?
one thing I want to ask you, in your state, do you know if the concealed carry permit is associated with your license tag? Here in North Carolina, if my tag is ran on my vehicle, then it shows that I'm a concealed carry permit holder. And I do have,
Okay.
concerns at times because my 20-year-old son does drive my vehicle.
Okay.
But what I've kind of found talking to sheriff and different, law enforcement is that typically, if you have been through that concealed carry training, you're a registered concealed carry permit holder, you're going to get a new level of respect from law enforcement because you did take the time to invest in that and in the knowledge and getting your permit. So it's a new level of respect that you're going to receive, and they're more likely to leave you alone. To be honest with you, and they feel comfortable approaching you because they know that you have taken that training and that you possibly have that firearm on versus walking up to a vehicle and could be ambushed by anything. So it kind of concerned me, having a 20-year-old, you know if he gets stopped in my vehicle, will they think that he's a concealed carry holder? Will they think that he has a gun in the vehicle? you
Right.
know so something to think about with having those boys.
Right.
See,
It
Well,
see
is.
see,
if
so
that's going to be associated.
right, see, so I'm from Los Angeles. I grew up in crack-ridden Los Angeles. So
Woo.
police treated us a little different. So with that, I have a routine that I teach my children.
Okay.
If you get pulled over, first thing you do, pull over, cut the car off, put the keys on the dash, roll down all the windows, and turn the lights on in your car. That's before they get out the car. Now, I can honestly admit that in Georgia, the culture is kind of like,
What?
what's going on, my man? But they're comfortable with the fact that you are allowing them to visualize a lot of things. I would
Yeah.
say that has prevented myself for a lot of years. Once I got out of my stubborn times, it
Right.
prevented a lot of situations. They don't even ask to search a vehicle. I mean, you're really showing your transparency, you know,
Right.
and it's worked for it. That has worked so far. I have a soon to be 21-year-old who goes to Hampton, and he's been stopped and he was scared and he was
Yeah.
like, Dad, after I did everything you told me to do, it worked. And I'm like, it was supposed
Oh.
to, son. I mean,
And I
Right.
think
so I would say,
one thing, keep them hands on the steering wheel at 2 and
oh yeah,
10.
well, I
Keep
tell
them
him put him on the dash,
steering
but
wheel.
same thing,
Yeah.
put him
Yeah,
on
Have
the
them
keep them
visible,
dash,
visible.
clear and visible.
on
Mm-hmm.
the dash.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
do.
take your foot off the brake, everything.
Yeah.
There's a black guy here in North Carolina. He developed a little wallet type device. It's called the pullover pal, and you
Okay.
can put your concealed carry, your driver's license, insurance cards or whatever, and it flips open and you can hang it over your window, so you don't have to interact
Gotcha.
with the
Ah,
while
gotcha.
documents are
I saw
inside of
that.
that
Yeah.
pullover
I
pal
love
wallet.
that.
You hang it
Those
out
things are
so
really that's really nice.
when you put
And
all the
honestly,
windows
after
down, like Cole
we
said.
have to,
He's out.
they killed
Right,
Philando Castile. Told my nerves plumb up. But I had
right.
actually invested in one of those the overhead visor, that you just hook to your visor
Um,
from the
Right.
AutoZone or whatever, one of the little car parts places.
Yeah.
But now I carry that pullover pal with me in my purse. It's just like a second wallet, so that I can
Okay.
just flip it, over the window, and I don't have I can keep my hands,
Right
fully
there on
visible.
the.
I don't have to. touch anything or dig for anything because everything is right there together.
Right.
So, you know, uh, teach them not to be reaching down for stuff. Keep
Never
those hands
reach.
visible
Right.
always.
And be respectful, even
Be
Right.
if they're not.
respectful, and
Even if
Right.
that's
they're
right.
not.
The
You know,
goal, I say, the goal is to get home alive,
Yes.
that's it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Yeah.
and not
Let's
And
being
respect
see.
goes a long
and
way.
that's
Respect, you
right.
can respect yourself out of a ticket.
You
Yes.
certainly can.
You
Absolutely.
know.
You
Yeah.
can pray yourself out of one too.
I've asked all
Amen.
kinds of questions.
Want to
I
do
will
it.
straight up ask for a warning.
Want
I'll
to
be
do
like,
it.
can this just be a warning, please? And my fiance be looking at me like, how do you do that every time? I'm like, I just ask. I'm just
Gotta ask.
Well, I
That's
almost went to
confidence.
jail. I almost went to jail in South Carolina at the age of like
Uh-oh.
24 on the way to the bike rally in a
Oh
caravan,
yeah.
yep.
speeding behind some other people and got stopped and had my handgun in the car. There was no
Oh,
concealed carry law then in North Carolina. It was just straight open carry. And I'm crossing state lines following North
yeah.
Carolina law. And
Mm.
I put my gun on the dashboard.
Hmm.
Like I said, it stopped 4 cars, and I was like the last one in the line. So he gets to my vehicle, and I'm told him, I'm said, there's a handgun on the dashboard, and they said, well, I'm gonna have to take your gun, and I'm gonna have to take you to jail. And I
Oh,
said, oh Lord Jesus, and they said,
oh,
well, sometimes prayer helps, and I said, well, Lord Jesus, be with me,
Amen. Amen.
and
Won't he
y'all.
do it?
explained to him that I was a North Carolina citizen. That in North Carolina, if you got stopped, you had to have your gun fully visible, blah blah blah. And he
Right.
allowed me to take my handgun and lock it in the trunk. But in
Okay.
South
Right.
Carolina, if you don't have a concealed carry, that gun's better be concealed. They don't have open carry in South Carolina. So that's
Okay.
just another way, that we're talking about how the laws change state to state.
Yeah, you
Please,
definitely got
please,
to be
please, you
careful
guys
with
be
that.
familiar. Yeah, for sure. Wow. All
Yeah.
right, let's see. Oh, that was the name of the thing that was the stick and move. What?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the stick and move, Cole? And what other items should a woman, just have on her generally? Miss Rhonda, I saw you do like a bag check or something where you kind of dump everything out and you're showing, all the different defenses that you have in your bag. So other than the stick and move, tell us what is the stick and move and what else we should be carrying with us on the regular in our bag.
So the stick and move every day is known as what's called a Kubaton.
Okay.
Okay. So the benefits of it, you could use it, you could hold it, and you could like an ink pen, and you strike different parts of the body. It's really good for face strikes, groin strikes, ribs is good for, but it's also a glass breaker should you be in a position that you got to get out your car.
Okay.
Okay. We have tons of different stun guns. When it comes to stun guns, I got three main components. I want high voltage, I want bright flashlight, and I want rechargeable. I don't
Okay.
trust batteries in stun guns personally.
Okay.
We have different versions of pepper spray. The Brutus, what Miss Rhonda spoke about earlier, it looks like a dog with your fingers go in it, and it
Okay.
has these
Grab
two
it.
pointy ears. Look
Okay.
like she about to go get it. And
Oh,
you
please go
can use
get it.
that, and it's almost like the same mentality with the keys between fingers, but
Okay.
it's a good rubberized hard plastic that you can use to get
So it
some
won't hurt
really,
you.
really good
The
strikes in.
women like.
Really good strikes in. But like our products are under Shock 'em Girl, and our self defense, of course, is under Divas in Defense.
Okay.
That's it right there. Put it in the camera, Miss Rhonda.
That's it right there. And she got it on
Yeah,
her
Okay.
key
yeah.
and it's
That
rubber
bad boy
on the
does.
back side.
On
So
your
when you
website, couple.
What did you say?
Didn't I see them on your website?
Yes, man. They on there. They on Shock 'em Girl every day.
shock
Any
'em,
color you
girl.
Absolutely.
want. Any color you want.
All
That's
right, y'all.
it.
All right, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
But
have to do one of those. You guys.
Yes. You've already
Oh,
sold two for
oh,
sure. And we got daughters, so y'all done sold some of those already.
Yes.
Now,
oh.
are those
You see
very
those ears
pointy?
right there?
oh, those things not only pointy,
Ooh.
it's hard, solid plastic. And
Okay.
one thing I also like about is the ears. They're kind of like what word I'm looking for? So like it's kind of like a cut in the ear that if you strike and get blood, it also holds on to some DNA for you.
Wow.
Um,
Mm.
right. But I just got three things I want everybody to have as a takeaway. Okay,
Okay.
these three things I want you to have in place with yourself and your family. So what do you do as a unit in case of a natural disaster? Where do you guys go? Where do you guys congregate? Where's the place for the family to go in case of a natural disaster? Second, what is the meeting location for a fire? If half the family go out the front, the other half go in the back, then both halves go in and everybody dies.
Right.
Have a specific spot for that congregation. And last but not least, have a action plan with a panic room in case of a break-in. Now, in Miss Rhonda's case, I advise you to pass her house. But if you break, if you break
That
in,
too.
but in that place, it could be a. I tell people go places where it's not where people don't want to go in. People are like, well, I'm hiding in the bathroom. Drug addicts look for drugs. Drugs are in the bathroom. Not the best place to hide. Closets work better. Depends on how the outlook is. But in that, have a method of communication and have any type of weapon. It could be bleach in a spray bottle. I don't care what it is. Something to fight with.
Mm-hmm.
But that phone. So if you like me, like we got 5 children, so we got iPhones. I think I still got an iPhone 2 somewhere in a drawer in my house. Okay. So if you got an old phone, like we have tons of them that had service at least one day, that phone, even disconnected, can always be used to call 911.
Yes.
Can
Right.
always be used to call 911. So have a phone like that in that place, even charged up. It won't hurt you. Cost you maybe extra 10 cents a month. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. That was great. You're on mute, Toy.
Oh,
There you
there we
go.
go. Sorry, guys. I was listening. I was writing. I was making notes.
Yes.
We live in Florida, and the fire is that's worldwide. I think everybody has some type of fire drill that they do. I used to do literal fire drills in my house where I would sound the
Great.
alarm,
Great.
and when the kids, because it was so many of them, it's like we got to practice this thing. Everybody
Right.
needs
That's
to know
it.
what's going on. But we
That's
also, y'all, we would have deer drills because we backed
Yeah.
up to a preserve and deers would be outside and they could come flying through our glass patio
right.
door. So
Oh
the
no.
kids
No.
we used to
Uh-uh.
do
I've never
protection
lived like
from the
that.
deer. But yes, it is so important to have the fire drill. I never thought of the panic room. And I think everybody has an old phone laying around, so that's great
That's good.
information,
The
for
old
the
phone.
Yeah,
family.
like I was saying earlier, I include the he called it panic room. I call it safe room, and
Yes,
also have that plan of defense for your kids, having that safe word for the kids.
Yes,
You
safe.
right.
know, this
Yep,
word, you go to
Yes.
this location and you do not leave until mama comes and gets you. So it's always
right.
good to have a safe plan, a plan of defense for your family.
I love it.
Thank you.
You'd be
Yes.
Thank you so
surprised how many
much.
don't.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
You'd
you'd
be
be
surprised.
surprised. So let's. I mean, I think it was big when we were coming up to have that word.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna pick you up, or she sends somebody else to pick you up from school, to have that word. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want people to get
Mm-hmm.
away from that.
Mm-hmm.
When you have your
Mm-hmm.
children, make sure you're still practicing all of these safety tips. We are coming up on 9:07. I want to make sure y'all are still okay for about 10 minutes or so. Cole, I didn't watch the sun go down back behind you, so I'm
Right.
like, I'm kind of watching the time, and by that, I'm like, okay, he in the dark, so let's
Right.
get this thing going. And he in
Well,
Atlanta.
I
I don't want
I
to see a
do. I have
giant
another call.
mosquito.
I got another call at 9:15, so I may have to leave in a few minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see here. Tell us. Let's see. We almost got through pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Your program certifies and licenses people to be a self-defense trainer. Can you give us just a little bit of information on that? How to become
Absolutely.
a self-defense trainer?
Absolutely. So if you go to the Divas in Defense website, which is DIVASINDEFENSE.com, it'd be a part on there under instructors, and it'll say become an instructor. It's a full write out. If you do submit your email, we'll email you over an instructor information packet, which includes pricing. It includes how you also make money. It includes the training that we teach, how long it's going to take, and everything that you're able to get. So I would say the benefit of it is just it's proven strategies that we have used. And believe it or not, this corona has really affected us. I mean, we can't do any in-person classes.
Right.
Mm.
And as an organization, we have to have a pretty much reopening plan as well that we're in talks with our attorney because we have to have it across board.
Right.
Like we have a trainer that's an equestrian trainer in Indiana. Her town, they might have 400 people. She's like, we didn't even know Corona was out until recently.
Right.
They
Mm.
haven't done anything to prevent it, but they have no cases.
Right.
So we have to instruct her as well,
Right.
just from a liability perspective. But I would say anyone could do it. We have from multiple black belts to soccer moms to engineers to nurses teachers, you name it, we have it. It's decent supplemental income, and it's
I want
also a
to do
way
it.
to empower others.
I
Thank
want to
you
do it.
so much.
Yeah.
Do,
We really
do they do
appreciate it.
the
We appreciate
instructor
all the
training?
information, and we also appreciate the
Listen,
gift that keeps on giving, you know. So that's
that's it.
definitely part of the gift that keeps on giving. You can become a self-defense trainer and continue to teach and empower girls as little as 4 all the
Yes.
way up to grown
If
to
you have
learn
the
how to protect
patience.
themselves.
If you have the patience.
If you have the patience.
That
Yeah.
You might have to
4-year-old
come
watching.
talk to me
Woo,
about preschool,
I can't do it.
daycare.
So I have a
I
question for
actually,
Cole.
I'm sorry. Yes, Miss Rhonda.
Do they offer the training at all of the locations for instructors, like the Jacksonville, North Carolina location? If I was interested, or I got to
No.
come
So
through.
so what she did was you could do technically you could do it all online and submit videos, but we have instructor conferences 3 times a year. And
Okay.
every time we have an instructor conference, not only do we pretty much go over the moves, everyone get an opportunity to teach.
Okay.
We also introduce new moves that I didn't thought of or
Okay.
came up with sometime, which are fun for myself. But you know, I just like to even. I do a lot of breaks. I do a
Okay.
lot of pressure points. I just like to even out the playing field real quick. And the kick in the groin is not really that easy to access. As men,
Right.
we know that. We protect that area. We turn our body and be like, girl, you tripping. What's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
Right.
And that's
you
where she
know.
coming.
So,
All right. Well, we're
so
gonna have a lot of people interested. So right now
Yeah.
it's pretty much all online, but you do offer conferences. When we come out of Corona, it will be an opportunity if you do choose to become a trainer to engage with the company and get some hands on.
And
absolutely.
we're definitely going to be in contact. We're going to do a journey right self-defense with Rhonda. Rhonda's going to join us as well. We're going to
Yeah.
Awesome.
all this maybe in 2021 once all this is over
We'll
with.
work it out.
We're gonna make
We'll
it
work it
work. We're
out.
gonna work it out, work out all the logistics, and meet up later. But we'll be in touch. We'll get we need that list from you where all of your
Gotcha.
people are
Trainers
located.
are
So
absolutely.
yeah, we'll post
And
that
also the summer
and
camps, the
and the
virtual
summer
summer
And
camp.
camps, because a lot of
okay.
parents
So
are looking for something for the
I,
children over the summer.
I email it as I email after my next call.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much. Have a
you.
Okay.
good night.
Thank you.
Bye,
Ladies,
Cole.
bless y'all. I love what y'all doing, Miss Rhonda. Keep doing your
Thank
thing.
you, Cole. It's so
Ladies,
nice
thank
to
you so
meet
much for having me as a guest. I appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
We'll be
All
in
right.
much.
touch.
Thank you.
Have a good
Absolutely. Be
night.
safe. All right.
you.
Okay, we're gonna keep going if you don't mind, Miss Rhonda, because we do still have some more questions for you when it comes to guns. My daughter just walked in. She's been on the road,
Okay.
so she just walked in. She's taking pictures. She's all excited. So she's like, "Hey, all right, very good." So let's see. All right, so where would you, as a female, where would you carry a gun on your person? Like, where should I be carrying my gun?
Sorry. Um. Well, that is definitely something that you as an oh my goodness,
It's
get
okay.
the hours up. Definitely something that you need to decide as an individual what you're comfortable with. Now
Mhm.
I owned a gun for, like I said, I would say I've been teaching for 5 years, so I would say 20, 30 years that I really wasn't comfortable with. I
Yeah.
really didn't feel comfortable carrying my gun for many years. I was afraid to even load it, unload it.
Yeah.
And it was just really, when I really became confident was when I started training, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And that's been in the past 5 years. Like I said, I had the gun for years, and I think most people do. They go out and they buy themselves a handgun, but they never really take any type of training, and they never really become confident with the gun. One thing that they do recommend, I don't know why I feel like I'm out of the camera. I'm like
I know you
dancing and
never know which way to go. That's how I
jumping.
am. Like, which way do I go?
But one thing that they do recommend is that you buy and I'm like way off, that you do buy what they call snap caps or dummy inert ammunition that doesn't fire, has like
Okay.
plastic in the bottom of it.
Okay.
Utilize the ammunition to how to learn how to load and unload your handgun properly. And then there's
Okay.
different types of drills that you can do utilizing your handgun empty. They call it dry fire practice. You need to
Yes.
learn how to, unholster your gun, position it center line of the body, point it at your target, and fire, within seconds. you want to be proficient with carrying that gun. Now there's a couple different types of holsters that I prefer. I bought many, and most have just been in a bucket, and I've shown them to people as class props because they've been uncomfortable. Um, so they do make, conceal carry handbags, where you access the handgun from the back of the handbag. But
Okay.
what I always remind people is that if your handbag is stolen, there goes your firearm.
There it
Someone
goes.
comes through and runs and snatch that bag, then that firearm's gone with that bag. I
Right.
prefer to carry on body when I'm carrying. I typically carry appendix position. You can carry smaller back, of course, on your waist. They make bra holsters. One of my favorite
That's
holsters
interesting.
is the Undertick tank holster. It's made like a tank top, and it's just like a fitted
Okay.
tank, and it has under the left armpit and under the right armpit, so you can have two
Okay.
handguns under your armpit. They make that in a
Okay.
full length tank, and then they also have it as a midriff, which I typically wear more in summer months. It's made like a
Okay.
sports bra. It doesn't fit like a bra, so you do have to wear it over your bra. But I
Okay.
really like that particular holster. And then my third favorite holster is what you would call a belly band, and it's just an elastic band that has a place for your handgun, maybe an extra magazine. The one that I use, I have a place for a magazine and a pocket knife or flashlight or whatever you chose to carry. But it's just an
Okay.
elastic band. It has either Velcro or like the hook and eye closures, and it just fits down into the waistband of your pants. And
Okay.
those are good for when you're wearing pants, wearing a skirt, or even I found that mine works pretty well when I'm wearing like leggings or extra yoga pants or whatever you want to call them. So a belly
Okay.
band work great for something like that, or the
Okay.
tank. And for my inside waistband holster, there's a couple of brands that I really like. I like the brand Crossbreed
Okay.
holsters. um, I'm a little budget conscious, so they do
Yeah.
have a website called Crossbreed Seconds. And if they've made a holster for someone, the person didn't pick the holster up, or maybe it had some type of little defect or something. They have a website called Crossbreed Seconds, and it can bring the cost of that holster from $60 retail down to $35. So
That's awesome.
I typically go on there and see if they have what I need. But for that particular company, I bought two holsters because they are so comfortable. And like I
Okay.
said, I have a lot of holsters that I just don't use. There's another company that makes a nice holster. They're here in North Carolina out of Lexington, and they're called Nate Tactical. It's like
Okay.
N8 Square. It's two guys named Nate and Nate. They call it N8 Square. But it's Nate Tactical, and they make a really comfortable holster. But you really have to experiment. And unfortunately, you're gonna buy some that you don't like, and you're gonna find some that you love. I typically forget that I even have that crossbreed on, and then when unless I'm going to the restroom, and then I also remind women that when we do start carrying that handgun, now when we go to the restroom, we got to keep up with our gun and our cell phone. So
Yes, both of them. Both of them. Can you imagine getting back to dinner? You're like, oh my God, and like flying back to the bathroom. Like, oh no, that's
but
crazy. I'm
now
gonna
if I
definitely check out the crossbreed. But wow, I mean, you just because when
and
I
like
went into the
that,
gun store, it was just the one little holster, that you kind of
yeah,
see. It looked like it kind of go in your pocket, and they were like, "Well, do you want a holster?" And I'm like, "No," the
no,
bill just was adding up, and I was like, "No," and I'm glad I waited because
yeah.
there's so many options,
Yeah,
you know.
like I said, I really like that belly man holster.
Mhm.
There's a company called Allen that makes some handgun accessories, and they have a very nice, inexpensive one, and it's actually been one of my favorites. I bought one from a fancy, girly frilly company that cost me, $50, and I didn't like it. So you
Right.
really have to experiment and see what things work for you.
I
All
like
right.
when you said there's a bra holster. I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't even I didn't
yeah,
even
it's
know
called
that.
the
I said,
called the Flash Bang Bra Holster.
Flashbang,
hmm.
Yeah, but it's
flashbang bra.
attaches to the center of your bra, and then of course, the barrel of the gun is pointing at your
Right.
girls, so
Right.
I don't know if
So
I
that's
like
how it fits in there.
but then I
Gosh,
carry
but
a
then,
pendant,
so
so
I mean, it has
I'm
to
like,
be
but I carry a
comfortable on
pendant.
you, and then, but you have to be able to get to it, So, would you suggest bringing that with you to your classes? Would
Mhm.
you show an individual,
I
you
would,
know?
if you wanted to bring it to your class, but typically class is going to be so controlled that you're rarely going to be allowed to even utilize a holster unless you're taking some type of defensive training course.
Gotcha, gotcha.
It's
Okay,
really not going to serve much purpose, for you for class, in my opinion.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
We have a couple of questions
Yeah.
in our comments.
Yes.
Shanika, you want to grab them?
Yes. So, one of the questions is, what are the safe measures for cleaning a gun?
Safe measures for cleaning a gun. One would be to leave your ammunition in another room,
Mm.
especially for new
Yeah.
shooters. They recommend that you leave the ammunition in another room when you're cleaning your handgun. The most important thing of all, treat every gun as if it's loaded, even if you unloaded that gun yourself.
Right,
Treat every gun as if it's loaded.
right,
There's been a couple of situations where people have shot themselves while cleaning their guns.
right.
One was a prominent pastor in Charlotte, North Carolina, back in 2015, shot himself in the chest while cleaning his gun.
Mm.
Josh Morgan, NFL football player, shot himself while cleaning his gun. He got charges for reckless handling of a firearm
Mm.
and injury, and I heard he got kicked off the team, but I never verified it. But
Oh
typically,
man.
typically those accidents are happening because they are assuming that that firearm is unloaded and their surrounds still remaining in the chamber.
Right,
Always treat every gun as if it's loaded. Always do a safety check on every gun. If somebody tells you this gun is not loaded, oh, let me show you my new gun. Oh, it's not loaded. Guess what? It's loaded until I can
right,
do a check for myself.
Mm.
right.
Gotcha.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's
Very
important. So if you're listening, always, always, always treat a gun as if
as
it
if
is
it was
loaded. Too
loaded.
many accidents.
Too many.
Too
Yeah.
many accidents we
Too
are
many
know of.
too many senseless accidents. And then, so the next question we have, it says, do states have types of ammo that are unlawful for your gun? So is there a
Mm.
specific ammo that's illegal? And is it, state by state, or is it across the board, or?
Well, I think I'm not sure if you all saw there was a guy, I think he might have been in New York, but he worked for a um like armored truck company. The
Mhm.
guys
Mhm.
that go get the money from the bank and all of these different places.
Yeah.
And he had what you would consider hollow point ammunition, but the particular type of ammunition that he had, it was hollow point, but it had a plastic polymer filling in the center of the hollow.
Mhm.
So the state said that made it non-hollow, and he actually was
Mm.
arrested and was facing charges and all kinds of things, and they actually ended up dropping the case against him. Thank goodness.
Mm.
There was some type of technicality or something. But there's like that's why I say know your laws in your state.
Know
Also
your
going to do
law.
Know your law.
you're going to need to know what type of ammunition is acceptable versus unacceptable. How many rounds can I carry in my firearm when I'm traveling? Can I even have my magazine in my firearm when I'm traveling? Now, here in North Carolina, the police will tell people you can't travel with a loaded gun. That's
Mhm.
not what the concealed carry law says.
Right.
Hmm. So that's a good
There's
question.
nothing written saying that you can't have your gun loaded and you're traveling, but when someone tells you this, then that's what you believe until you know better.
Right.
That's crazy. I mean, why shouldn't law enforcement be on the same page? Should be, no, with the laws.
You would think so, but you would be surprised at the things that I hear.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And who they decide to draw attentions to,
They're
for
doing law
different.
enforcement training. They're not doing concealed carry training. So you need to know your laws.
right,
Right.
right.
Because I heard some things that have been told to people by, sheriff and and the police, and I'm like, well, what does it say here in this red book that's written by the North Carolina Department of Justice? This is your handgun law. But they have
Right.
all of these preconceived beliefs because of things that they've, been told by other people. Um, one of the big things here in North Carolina, um, you can stop illegal entry into your home if you feel that a person is coming into your home to harm you or to kill you. So you can stop that illegal entry. But once that illegal entry occurs, there must be an immediate threat of death, great bodily harm, or sexual assault before
Mm,
you can fire on anyone illegally inside the home.
mm,
Just because they're inside your home does not give you the right to fire on them.
mm,
So what?
People
Let's say
think,
a fire at all. So let's say you just shoot him. Let's say you shoot him in the foot just to kind of stop him, and you call 911. You're like, wow, and you call 911 because you're like, this person's trying to break in my house.
well, I
You can't
said
do it at all.
stop illegal entry. So if that takes, shooting through the door, the window, or whatever you got to do to stop that illegal entry. Once they
Okay.
get into the home, the rules change. There must be an immediate threat of death, rape, bodily harm, or sexual assault. There have been people there was a woman woke up, there was a man in her kitchen cooking breakfast butt naked. She can't
mm.
shoot him because he's not an immediate threat to her at
Right,
that moment.
right.
There's a guy walked in and there was a guy sitting on his couch drinking juice. I'm thinking, the guy was a mental. He was
Yeah.
sitting on his couch butt naked drinking juice. There was another article. A lady woke up. She was in her bed watching TV and she heard a shower come on. Why she didn't hear somebody come into her house is another question. But she
Exactly.
heard her shower come on, got up out of her bed, walked over to the bath, to the shower area, and there was a pair of male boxer briefs on the floor. She can't
Mm.
just shoot him in the shower because he's in her home illegally. There has to be a threat of death, great bodily harm, or sexual assault. Whether
That
somebody
is something else
crazy,
that is so
it's
close for
crazy.
too
That's,
close for comfort.
it is.
It's
That's like,
But it also,
you
on the
give
flip
your
side,
baby
it gives
rights.
space, to maybe save a life if they are mentally ill
Yeah,
or
mhm.
or something like that.
yeah.
Or,
I
Wow.
always use the analogy, like I'm sleeping and I wake up and I have my bedroom is upstairs. I hear something rumbling around. I wake up. I look down and I see someone has my TV in their hand. I can't shoot that person.
You can't shoot that person.
They just
Man,
have. They're not a threat to me at that point. Now they drop that TV, start charging at
and
me.
coming to
Now
right,
they can drop that TV and go to run out the door, and I better not shoot
right.
because
I guess that
you
makes
cannot
sense.
shoot. You cannot shoot once the threat ends.
Right. Well, I
Now
guess
that's the flip side
overall,
of it.
yeah. I mean, overall, it's like, you know what? Just take it and get and go, and at
Yeah,
least save a life, yours and that person's. I mean, if they're gonna steal it, it's
yeah,
material. You can always get another TV. Take the
right, right.
TV, get out. As long as you're not trying to take a life to
Right.
get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
TV.
Still
I guess
That,
such a fine line. It's like, what if
I
they
know.
come back? It's just too much. But
yeah. And then
you
they're in your personal space. You feel like I've been violated. I feel like I should be able to protect myself. For
right.
anybody illegally inside my home, but I have to, know my laws and respect my laws to keep
Definitely, because
myself out of jail.
you definitely, because I
I
remember
got
this was
homework.
a while ago. I remember someone tried to break in LL Cool J's house like years ago in LA, and he actually fought the guy and held the
Mm,
guy down until 911 got there.
wow.
So,
I got that self defense.
So
yes,
that's not, you can have them you can hold them till the police come or whatever. But there's been situations where someone has, you know, broken into a house or something, and then if that person goes to the magistrate and say somebody just pulled the gun on me, then you're facing charges.
Right.
Then
exactly.
you're the
You the
victim or
victim.
whatever, but then
Mhm.
turns around as if they're the victim. So it's all kind of crazy stuff be going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Just try to figure out what those laws are to the best of your ability, and taking these classes that you guys offer definitely helps. We have a question here. Miss Rhonda, how important is legal protection for gun owners?
It is super. I'm sorry, y'all. My dog won't say show
It's
his butt.
okay. It's okay. They want some attention too.
I'm trying to get him to come here and shut up. um, Legal protection is super important, and it's a very important question to ask, and it's something that I started to broach but decided not to. So there are different types of legal funds available on the market. I do partner with a company who provides a legal defense program. And what they do is they put a criminal defense attorney on call for a
Okay.
very small fee per month. They have several different plans available. One of the most popular plans is called USCCA, and they start, I think, around 29, and then they tier their program up to like $59, $59.95.
Okay.
And in each tier, there's a certain dollar amount that is going to cover, for court costs and, your lawyer retaining fee and stuff like that. But the particular program that I partner with is called U.S. Law Shield, and their cost is $10.95 a month, and they put a criminal defense attorney on call 24/7.
Wow.
They cover you from the appeals process all the way the through your court costs. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that um, the cost of a criminal defense attorney here in North Carolina, which we're just a little small southern state, so the bigger the state, then the more chances you're going to have of the cost increasing. But here in North Carolina, to retain a criminal defense attorney can cost you anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 just to put the lawyer on retainer to say, yes, I will represent you. Now, that may or may not cover your cost of court. When it comes to your cost of court, those court hours could run anywhere from $300 to $650 an hour.
Okay.
So how are we going to pay these fees if we don't have some type of legal protection plan?
Gotcha.
Never even thought of it. Thank you
that.
so
Yeah.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll share the US Law Shield, you said, right?
Yes. Like I said, there's one called USCCA. There's one called US Law Shield.
Mhm.
The NRA had a program called NRA Guard, but they disbanded it. It didn't live very long.
Okay.
I do know that Legal Shield has a waiver in their plan. They cover $40,000 worth of court costs, and I think maybe 40,000 towards your retainer and 20 for court, or 20, 40, 40, 20, something like that. But it's $60,000 total. But when we're
Okay.
looking at a criminal defense attorney costing 35 to 75,000 just to put them on a retainer, then that little money is going to run
That'll
out.
absorb some of that cost in case you need it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
depending on the situation and how fast you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, it all it's like it's going on so fast. You're like, what did I get caught up in? What is the situation that I'm in right now? So that's a good backup. That's a good
Yeah.
backup right there. I think we kind of touched on this, but I want to bring this back around as we close. Just shooting a gun and how do I get over my fears? Because, like I said, a lot of people they're not fearful yet. It's like preventative, or they're getting it because they saw their parents or their family members having a gun. So, how do you get over the fear of shooting a gun?
Really, there's no way to, magically erase that fear. I think that fear is good. Anybody that's not fearful scares me. So I think you definitely need to have a certain level of fear. But I think once you go and take a proper training class with someone who you feel comfortable with, someone who takes time with you, even in a class setting, if they'll spend some time with you one-on-one doing some coaching, then that's definitely going to make you feel a little more comfortable. And what I found is that there's a lot of ladies who come into my class. I get a lot of first-time shooters. A lot of them are just terrified. I had one lady; she was just shaking, and I put a rubber training gun in her hand, and she got out on the range and was the best shooter of the day. And a lot of people that are very fearful, once they get themselves out there and go shooting that one time, they can't wait to go back.
Go back. Exactly.
Because like you said, it is empowering to be able to defend yourself. and to know how to utilize the tools properly.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And that's a great way to wrap it up. Being empowered and knowing how to use the tool properly, just educating yourself.
Yeah.
So thank y'all so much. Thank
No.
you, Rhonda, for being on with us. Girls on Fire. We're gonna take a trip. I mean, we gotta get to North Carolina, or we all gotta make it down to Atlanta. But either way,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
we gotta turn this into an in-person situation where we are learning from you. Don't
Mhm.
you stop. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be part of that team telling you not to stop. Summer's coming around, and you better be there for.
Girl, it's so miserable. It is so miserable.
Stay cool. Don't be too hot out there on that gun range. Get you some fans.
Yeah.
So we're kind of opening back up, slowly here in North Carolina. And my classes, I try to. Well, I always keep my classes small. Like I said, even 5 years in, I teach a maximum of 8 people because I do teach, solo. I work solo, and just try to keep things small.
Mm-hmm.
So with this COVID-19, I'm having people request, to be moved back to later dates, or maybe wanting to reschedule their class to the fall, different things like that. So as people are organically, rescheduling, I'm not allowing any new people to come in. I'm just keeping everything, if I can get 4 or 5 people, then that's plenty for me right now, because it is
Right.
a serious time.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's gonna be a lot of people I know inquiring about it after this because we went through a scare.
Well, you
Yes.
know, the thing is with Girls on Fire. So we talked about empowerment early in, right?
Mhm.
What I say, if you're doing something, stay consistent. Keep your social media going. Stay engaging with your audience. Build that group. Build that community, and just don't give up. Do not give up. Whatever you do. Last year in it was November, like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I posted my annual events like I have done every year for the past 5 years. For some reason, Facebook loved me this year. Or last year, it
Yeah.
went crazy. I booked I was doing like one class a month.
Okay.
And it pretty much just worked for me. I do work full time in IT, have been for 30 some years. And
Wow.
so working, full time, just doing it once a month, just just part time, little fun, doesn't bring in a lot of money, but it helps other people.
Right.
So they booked the January, February class the weekend of Thanksgiving. They booked my March class the week after Thanksgiving. I was booking in May, April and May, um, back in December.
Wow.
Wow. That's
And
awesome.
I added another March, April, May class. I added 3 additional classes for spring. Those suckers filled up. I've done a couple private sessions, like for churches and small businesses, things like that, or even groups of friends that want to get together. There was a lady who's a doctor and her nurse friends. They came and did a private session together. But I'm booking in September. It's crazy.
That is wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful, but it is crazy overwhelming.
I know, but keep at it, keep it going. Especially after this,
And
we're
it's
gonna
just
keep
like
spinning it. And
Keep it
the
going.
thing
it's just
about it
like
is, once you're not afraid,
people can't get in.
once you're not
People
afraid,
can't
and
get
you have
in.
somebody like you that you can come and learn from and feel
Yeah.
comfortable around, you're like,
It's good.
dang, it's like I have a hobby now that I never even like. I have an outlet. I
Yeah.
thought that maybe sitting, on Facebook all day was fun, but wow, I get to go and hang out with Rhonda this weekend with Nico. Like, I can't wait. It's gonna be crazy.
So I
So,
have like a friend. She's at the range. I know 3 times a week at a minimum. She
yo,
stays.
once I get comfortable, that I can see that being me. Like, all right. They be like, where you at? At the
At the
range.
range.
At the range,
It's definitely bring,
So
Mm.
definitely
it's
building that
good.
confidence. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's
It
good.
is.
It's good for
It
women.
is.
Every time I go, I'm always when I go there, I'm like, looking around like, is it any girls here? And then if I see one, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And I'm watching her, and she looks like maybe law enforcement or maybe she was in the, they always got
Yeah.
their stuff together. And I'm always like, I want to be like that. So it's so awesome. The
And yeah, I
service
get
that
asked
you
all the time,
provide.
have I been in the military or law enforcement? And I'm like, no, I'm just a country girl.
Look at you. I should have asked you that because that's my assumption automatically too. So thank you
No,
so much.
Thank
thank you,
you.
lady.
This
I
was
enjoyed it.
Yes.
you got a lot of great information,
Thank you.
which was awesome because there was a lot of things I didn't know. So that is really
Mhm.
good information to share with us, and definitely I'm wanting to get my concealed weapons again.
Yes. Hopefully we got you excited and ready to get
Yeah.
Yeah.
empowered to go get yours. She's
Well,
in Virginia. Where are you located? I don't think we told everybody. We talked
Okay.
about it before we went live, but let's let everybody know where you
So,
are.
so I am. My office is located in High Point, North Carolina, which is right between like the Winston Greensboro Triad area. Now, surprisingly, I do get people who travel to me from Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, Fayetteville, and other places. They drive. Sometimes they're like, "I came from Charlotte," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you drove 2 hours this morning." And
You see?
I do have people travel and come and pay respect to the business, and I really, really appreciate that. And it just amazes me sometimes. I've had like three girls where they're like, we go to school at North Carolina Central. And I'm like, wow, this
And
is
they
so
drove to you.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, you
let-
have an amazing social media page. It is super energetic. I mean, it makes you, it's cool.
Mhm.
When I even like your profile video, it's like you got that pink gun. I'm like, she's awesome. So just keep it
It's
going.
been
Like you
fun.
told us, do not give up. Keep it going. We're gonna stay connected.
yeah.
so
We'll have people coming your way.
So one thing
Um,
I want to tell you, so when I was looking, to getting into the business, and I think it's important that not only being empowering to others, but also having that spiritual aspect to it. And when I was looking to start this business, I started asking God, hey, is this me? Is this you? What's really going on here? Because I never ever thought I would be doing something like this. And one of the things that I like to talk about is how I feel like I received confirmation to move forward with my vision. My friend called me up. Like I said, I got into that questioning myself and the questioning God mode. Like, is
absolutely.
me, you, what's going on? Is this the right thing? Do I move forward? Blah blah blah. And my friend called me up from just she's a real good friend, been friends for years, and she called me up just out of the blue after I asked those questions, which he will quickly give you answers
He
if
will.
and you see and you let him. She
Got to be
called and said,
receiving.
am I coming to the friends and family day that Sunday? And I told her, oh, yeah, I'd be there. I enjoy their friends and family day service. I always do some, good fun activities and things. And the pastor's message that day, y'all, I can't remember it all word for word, but I got a screenshot in my phone and keep it, over by my desk area when I'm working. But he said to make a move was his message of the day. He said to stop procrastinating, get ready, and get out of your comfort zone. And my hands were in
Mm,
the air, and he was like, I don't know who the message is for. And I was like, you're talking to me, Bishop.
I
I
got
received
it.
it, and I knew that it was that the God was giving me the answer that I was seeking to move forward. So, like I said, 5 years in, I am so thankful, and just so excited to have celebrated 5 years in business. It's just amazing, and I would say I probably trained a good 5 years in. I probably trained a good 400 people.
That is
At a minimum.
so that is
So
so amazing. We're
keep
gonna
doing
continue to celebrate the rest of this year with
that.
you. I
I
can't say
appreciate
thank you enough. I mean, I say it on behalf of everybody. I feel it, and even our connection. You never understand why you cross paths with certain
that's
people, but we're just finding through our chats over quarantine that it's
oh,
a purpose and it's a
that
higher power. I get chills every time. It's a
that
higher power and a
that's
greater
beautiful.
power that's bringing
That's
people together. And when we look back at our chats, you don't want to measure it based on, the like, click, the buttons
right.
and the hearts and the things like that. But we've had 509 people watch one of our chats, we've had 238 people watch, another 174,
Great.
views of this chat, of these chats.
It's
And
wonderful.
not only it's just solidifying that the messages that that we are discussing during our little 45 minutes to an hour and a half,
Yeah,
we're really sending a message across and being inspirational to
that's
others.
And
So
important
we
and
yes,
informative, because I think, especially in our communities, I think that's what holds us back: lack of information, lack of
right.
resources.
yeah.
And I think if we can stick together and inform each other and continue to mentor, not even mentor, but continue to provide the resources and the information, I think that we would continue to grow.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just don't
And
take
I think forums
word
like this, you have so many people who are so fearful. They have
Yeah.
so many
exactly.
goals and dreams inside of them that they, neglected or buried and just have so much fear. And I think that these type of forums also help, to build other people's confidence and help them to know, hey, I can do this. I can move forward with,
Yeah.
my vision, my idea. So I think it's beautiful what you all are doing, and I love it.
Thank
And I
you
thank
so
you so
much.
much for having me on today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This isn't the last time that we're gonna see you. We're gonna creep up on you, North
Okay, I'm
Carolina, or
ready.
either we will
I'm
plan
so ready for Georgia.
something for
I'm so ready.
Atlanta's like a third home for us.
Yes,
So said that I
yes,
was just like, what?
yes.
We got a road trip, so that's crazy. We will
Yeah, I
be in
think
touch.
I
Have
take
a
my
wonderful. You
quarantine
look
twist out.
beautiful. It looks beautiful.
It's like, oh, I'm not taking my twist out of my hair. I'm
No,
tired.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no. You look
no,
absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so
too
much.
much.
I hope
I
you have a
appreciate y'all.
wonderful Memorial Day
Thank
weekend.
you. Happy Memorial Day to y'all, and definitely relax and rest and enjoy your families. And
You
as they
too.
say, this too shall pass. And
It
just
will.
keep your
It
head
will.
up, stay faithful, and know that we all covered in the blood.
Absolutely. You are a blessing. You still
Thank
getting shout
you,
outs.
all.
Rhonda is the best. We
Yes.
love you. We love you. Thank you so much for
I love
joining
y'all.
us.
Thank
We're
y'all
going
so
to
much
share
for
this
having me.
information. Have
Yes.
a good night.
Have a good night.
This is the one trying to say
That's your
hello here.
baby. Hey,
Oh,
baby. Look, they had like a recap of all the animals that interrupted their parents during their
And
Zoom meetings and all.
he's got corona hair too.
He's like, I want to be on there too. What's
Mr.
his
Pooh,
name?
He need a haircut so bad, it's terrible.
Oh,
is
what's
that
his name?
Yvonne?
Snoopy, he's a miniature poodle.
A miniature poodle. Okay.
Mr.
Yeah.
Poodle. They can't go to the spa either. Everything is shut down. We all looking
Nobody.
crazy.
I had to cut it. I had him looking like George Washington, y'all. He was so pitiful.
Oh, thank
Then
you
I
for
cut it
sharing
again
him.
like crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, he did a haircut.
Oh, he'll get one soon.
Well, you
It's
ladies
great.
enjoy your weekend.
You do the same.
We'll talk to you soon. We'll be in
All right.
touch.
All
Let's
right.
plan that 2021 trip.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
That
Thank
is.
you,
Have a
ladies.
good night. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank
Have
you.
a good night, y'all.
Oh, that was so wonderful.
That was awesome. I definitely got a lot of good information, a lot of good resources, stuff that I didn't, enlightening on certain
Yeah,
things that I wasn't aware of. And especially with a lot of different things that are going on now,
yeah,
or what has been going on as far as domestic violence, and things of that nature. So it was very informative. And Cole and Rhonda were excellent as far as what they're doing, even with the community and things of that nature.
I mean, Cole, I had no idea when we first got in touch with them. I thought it was something on his social page that said North Carolina. So I was like, okay. I
Right.
was like, all right, both of our guests are, it's North Carolina. But jumping on the chat, you guys, before we start talking and going live, we get to know if we have a new guest that we don't know personally, and we need to get to know who they are and, and get acquainted and whatnot. And they have an operation. So they're not even located centrally in North Carolina. Their operation is in LA. And then in Atlanta is where the other brother is. And then they have a training system so that their defense trainers are nationwide, and you
Right.
can become one too if you want to. So I mean, it's just conferences and the classes, and now they've moved to online. So we want to definitely give, if you didn't watch the entire chat, I want to definitely give a shout out to Cole and make sure that you guys go check out their social page, their website. They're doing a summer camp for girls from the age, what was the age?
4 to 12.
4 to 12.
4 to
4 to
12. Yes, it was 4 to 12 years old, and it's going to be virtual camps because, as a lot of things are not really opening to that capacity where they can have a large group of people in one room or one setting. So I think they're starting out to do the virtual aspect of it, which to me, I feel like as parents, it's definitely a good situation to have your kids are part of a network where it's globally and they can meet people from different areas. And I don't know, I'm big on networking in that aspect, but I think it definitely would be good to start young. I think that, some of the things that he spoke on, I didn't learn until I got older.
Yeah.
Or you learn from around you or things that you see. I know, just touch on a little bit as far as young adults from 17 on to let's say 24, 25. I know that a lot of girls thought it was cute that their boyfriends were overprotective and things of that nature, or, oh, he loves me, or, just different things, that I think that when you have a support group like this that actually teaches no, that's not cute. Actually you need to run. You need to go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Or, just how to love yourself.
Right.
Because that was one of the that, self-defense, you don't even think about that they're actually teaching you. And I say this all the time, your mental capacity has to be there in order to achieve whatever else is around.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was telling them when we first started. It was, when I think of self-defense, I automatically see somebody flipping somebody over your back, and I'm like, well, first of all, I can't even do that. So I don't even know. But it's so much bigger than that. It's so
Right.
much more than that. And hopefully you were inspired tonight to incorporate self-defense into your vision boards or your 2020 or 2021 goals. I also just kind of want to make mention, we're out of school right now, or either we're in the last days of this school year, and it's up to us to kind of plan what that summer camp or that summer break is going to look like, and incorporating self-defense and empowerment is just, it would just be an amazing benefit for your family and your children. So consider that,
Another
in
tool.
your plan. Yes, for sure. This was so good. Oh, I don't even know what else to say. Like, I learned so much. I'm already inspired.
Yes, it's definitely a lot of great information, and definitely another gathering that we have in play for 2021. I think it would be awesome to have us come together and partake in a self-defense class. I mean, I just think it would be a great opportunity just to learn the different techniques. And I don't want to say challenge, but I think I would like put this into the universe and bring your daughters. Having a mommy daughter type of situation where you're kind of doing it together. Even your sons. I mean, children. I think families. There were certain things that they talked about. Safe words, which me and my family's familiar with safe words,
Right.
but having a location in a pandemic, we're in a situation right now that happened immediately. Like people got pulled from schools, kids got pulled from schools, jobs shut down. That's something to think about in the future. I'm in a different state than my older children. They're in college. I'm in another situation. So if something was to happen, it's good to have a plan and say, hey, this is where ultimately, if all communication fails, this is where we're going to meet. Make it here, So, and it's not to scare anybody, for people to panic and lose their mind and feel like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. It's not coming. I don't want to, not that I know it's not or whatever. I'm just saying, just be prepared.
This is being preventative and being in preparation. Most of us work for corporations, or if we're not working with the corporation right now, we have worked with some type of organization or company along the way in life, and they have these plans in
Right.
place. So why not have these same plans in place for the people that's most important to you, your family members?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
um so guys, this has just been
Awesome.
great information. What we are kind of realizing now is we are literally crossing virtual paths with people, and it's going to grow, and there's a purpose for the chat. And what we're going to do is within the week we will develop a link so that we can start getting the people that's viewing, that's interested in joining us once we are able to start traveling again. You're an email list, so that we can get a virtual newsletter out to you, and just event dates and times for future dates that we're going to plan to do something, because this is coming together, and it's going to turn into something amazing.
Yes,
Um,
it definitely is. Definitely, which is definitely a blessing. And what you put out, you definitely get back.
for
Is
sure,
definitely a testimony of that.
for
So,
sure.
you know, um, I'm documenting my journey as I go through and evolve. So that's just something that I preach to all of my friends. Where are you on your journey? Are you determined? You blessed? So
You almost there.
exactly.
Keep going. So
It's definitely great to have people, you know, just to kind of sum it all up for me. I think that from our first chat to even now, supporting each other,
yeah.
supporting each other's business,
Yeah.
putting that information out there,
Mhm.
and not competing with each other. We're not competing. We're evolving,
Yeah.
and I think that this is a platform that we wanted to evolve and help others evolve as well. Um,
Right.
and try to promote that. I think we would go so much further if we would support each other, stop
Yeah.
hating on each other, stop,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to look at that because I don't like her, or I don't like, I mean, and then you miss content, you miss what the actual information, because it might be something that you may need or whatever the
Right.
case may be. I just don't, as I've gotten older, I don't like the animosity. I don't like the drama. I mean, we don't all have to be best friends, but we can definitely support each other. I mean, we're
Yeah.
all in the same boat to a certain extent. We're all moms. We all have children. We all have struggles. We all stress. We all worry. We have fear and different things. We're all spiritual. Whether it doesn't matter what you believe in, we're all spiritual.
Right.
So I just think, as a nutshell, we just need to just take this a step further and continue onward, continue to support, whether it's mentoring or whatever the case may be, continue to do so. And I think today was a perfect example because, we have two people who've never met. We've all met and everybody connected and they're all on the same page. We all had the common goal as far as helping our community and supporting each other while doing it.
Right. Right. And there's no cost associated with it. And it's not like we're shouting complimentary or free. I mean, we want to do this. We want to bring these people together. We want to have these conversations. What's happening is, some of the people that we're talking with, they're business owners. So we're able to promote the business. But all in all, it's just free information. It's information that you can use to help uplift yourself or uplift your family, friends. And we appreciate, you guys supporting us and keeping us going, because it's been cool. It's been fun.
It's definitely a roller coaster ride.
Yes,
but we like roller coasters. No,
we like roller coasters. It's fun for us, and then we can sit down on Fridays and watch it all roll out, and then recap it throughout the week. It's just been amazing. It's been so fun.
It's definitely great. But
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in and hanging in with us this evening.
Yes.
And great questions. I want to thank everybody for all their questions. It was definitely great questions. And the support. I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate the support. It really it's encouraging because at times we're just kind of like and you don't know, but it is encouraging. So we want to thank for the support. We really appreciate you guys.
We do. Thank y'all so much. And I hope that you guys enjoyed. And we'll start getting ready for next Friday. So
Yes. All
y'all
right.
have a good night and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
Be safe out there, whatever you can and cannot do. And love, peace.
Bye, guys.